Welcome to That 80s Show. And Dori, I want you to identify a lyric for me, okay? Identify song lyrics. Now, I don't want you back for the weekend, not back for a day, Dori. Do you know what song that is from?
I do, but I can't think. I definitely know it.
It's very themed to your lifestyle, Dori. It is Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, because you are Dori and the Waves. I believe you haven't stopped moving for, what are we going on now, 96 hours?
Okay, let's be clear. I am not moving. The house is moving. Okay? It's like, if the room is a rocking, don't come a knocking.
Fresh off the boat. Dori, I cannot wait to hear about your 80s cruise experience. Neither can the little boys and girls who love That 80s Show so much, Dori. So please, let us hear about that 80s, the 80s and 90s cruise that Dori was on. And this is all going to be news to me.
And I'm still on. And I'm still on in a way.
Still on. I haven't heard anything. This is fresh off the boat.
Yes.
Dori, tell us.
Okay, so first of all, it was my first cruise. But apparently it's very normal to be feeling this way for a few days afterwards, that you kind of have your sea legs still, right? I don't have my land legs yet. But I didn't think that would mean that everything would still be like spinning around. Kind of enjoying it though. It was an extremely unique experience for me. I have never done a cruise. I've never had that kind of holiday or trip before. My usual holidays are quiet little chalet in a game farm in the mountains. That's my usual holidays. This was the extreme opposite of it. Okay? We're talking thousands of people on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
So that's the first thing. How thousands? I mean, are you literally? Thousands. So we're talking over 1,000, between 1,000 and 2,000 people.
Yes,
at least.
Yes,
okay,
at least. And funnily enough, even with that many people, you always keep seeing the same people. Like you always keep bumping into the same people. You know, you make friends. Like, you know how South Africans are. It was mostly South Africans, and you know how we are. We'll like make friends with the person in the lift. So as we got on the boat, I went with a friend. As we got on the boat, we met these two women while we were queuing to get in. And there's a lot of queuing. Hey, I'm just warning you, if you've never done a cruise before and you hate queues, do not go on a cruise. There's a lot of queuing all the time. Well, think about it. There's a lot of people look, it's a huge boat, huge. But it's still a confined space.
Right.
So we did have to stand in a bit of a queue to get on. We met these two women. One, it was her first cruise, and the other one, it wasn't. Same with us. My friend had been on a few cruises, and we did keep bumping into them. It was very funny. It was such an interesting experience. I have to say, like, I would absolutely do it again. But probably, I mean, there are people who go on multiple cruises in a year. I think once a year would be good for me. I don't know if I could do this more than once a year. It's like, it's kind of exhausting in a good way.
Yeah, I can imagine, because there is actually no break from it. There's not like, let's go for a drive and go explore the area, because you just can't. Like, let's just get on a jet ski. You know, you can't do that.
Look, you can go to your cabin, which is extremely quiet and I guess like calm. Your cabin is calm. It's a calm spot. That being said, we did have, unfortunately, some bad weather. So we were supposed to go to Portuguese Island and have a day on the island. That did not happen because it was unsafe for us to get off the boat. Because the sea was, let's just say, choppy. Choppy is a word.
You sent some videos. It was like, I'm like, it was not so nice knowing Dori. Am I going to be called in to identify her remains? Like, what will Dori's body look like after floating at sea for 3 days? Like, this is the calculations I'm starting to make.
It was so funny because before you leave harbor, you have to watch a safety video, and you have to do like a drill of the evacuation process, where you then go and meet at a certain point on the deck where the lifeboats are. I mean, I did it, but I wasn't really concentrating. I was like, at one point on the boat, I was like,
It's
at one
fine.
point on the boat, I was like, okay. At one point on the boat, I was like, okay, I really need to quickly go over that safety drill in my brain. And then I'm thinking, where are all my valuables? I need to put them all in one spot where I can grab them very quickly.
Oh my word! But I mean, that's not the cruiser's fault. That's like going on a plane and complaining that there's turbulence.
Absolutely not. And I mean, they do warn you that, of course, the weather. Nobody is in control of the weather, And I have to say, I mean, for all the fact that it was kind of rocking around and stuff, it was still fun. It was really funny because it was on the Saturday night when it was particularly bad. And I was in the bar with my friend, and then we were like, okay, let's go to dinner, right? So we start walking, and I mean, those who are very, very experienced could walk. I was holding onto the walls. Okay. I was like holding on to any surface that I could. It was very funny. So one guy said to me, "Oh, you're holding up the wall." And, it was like, it's almost like you're very drunk. Now, I don't drink, so I didn't have a drop of alcohol.
Yeah.
And so many people we were seeing were like, "Oh my God, I haven't even been drinking, but I'm acting like I'm drunk," because everyone's falling all over the place kind of thing. And it was really, really funny because at some point we had to walk. There was nowhere I had to leave the wall. And of course, you like kind of, like if you imagine that you're trying to get your balance on like a skateboard. So your arms are out and you're like waving around and everyone's kind of leaning in the same direction because you're going with the momentum of the boat, right? And so we're doing this, and then one of the crew members is walking towards us, and he starts copying us. He starts like almost ripping us off.
Right.
And then he looks at us and he laughs and he says, "Don't waste the sway." And he starts dancing. Which was so fun. It was so fun. That is my new motto in life, by the way. Don't waste the sway. Don't waste the sway.
I literally wrote it down now. That's going to be the title of this episode. Yeah. Don't waste the Swayze.
Totally. So, yeah, but apart from that, and it was all part of the experience. And Shay, my friend, was like, "I'm so sad you couldn't get off to go to the islands." And I said, "You know what? This is all amazing. It's all amazing. It's all a new experience for me. It was a holiday for me. I had to just be away from work and from home. So I had a great time, except for those few minutes where I was going over the safety drill in my brain, and it's also because it's a big boat, so it's making creaking noises. And then you start thinking about the movie Titanic. You start thinking about Titanic where there's those creaking noises, okay? We're trying to sleep. It's Saturday night. We're trying to sleep. And there's like a noise in the room of like, it sounds like a bottle rolling around. Now there is a little mini bar in your room. So I get up and I'm like, okay, something in this bar is rolling around because it wasn't like anything was attached. And I rearrange the whole bar and I try and shove things in so that they don't move. I get back in bed. I still hear the noise. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then I find my friend had put his deodorant in a drawer in the cupboard, his can of deodorant, and was rolling around. So it was like, you find like all these noises are going to bug you. I mean, we had breakfast with some people the next morning, and they were so funny. They were like, we were looking for the tokolosh in the cupboard. We were looking because we heard all these weird noises. We're looking, is the tokolosh in the cupboard?
So now those of you who aren't South African and listen to this, the tokolosh is like a mythical creature that is people in South Africa believe in that steals you from your bed. And to avert him, you have to place your bed on bricks. So because he's very short, he cannot climb onto the bed. So that's who they're trying to avoid. And now, Dori, tell me about the entertainment. Like, what's because you said there's themes, bring different outfits. Is there 80s music all the time? Is it too much?
There was 80s and 90s music like 95% of the time. On the Friday night, we were on the deck. There was a party. There were DJs. I have to tell you, The DJ comes on Friday night. This is after dinner time. And like it's basically the party's getting started. Yes, there are dress-up themes. They give you themes. So lots of people were dressed up in the same kind of theme. So for example, Friday in the day, the theme was fire and ice. So they said dress in red and blue. So many people were dressed in red and blue. So it's kind of like a bonding experience. It was pretty cool. The DJ comes on, Paolo. I'm with my friends. I'm on the other side of the boat from where the party is. But you can hear it. It's loud, right? You can hear it. First song she plays, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
Well
did I run across that boat? Did I? Of course I did.
Upright, no swaying, not wasting the sway, on the dance floor, no deck shoes.
I said to my friends, I'm going. The rule is it's Wham. The rule is you have to dance. Come. And like I dragged a few of them over and we were dancing to Wham. It was awesome. So that first DJ, she was the best. She was absolutely the best. She played mostly 80s stuff, some 90s. I have to tell you though, the one thing it's going to sound like a complaint, but I suppose in a way it's kind of funny. I must have heard Burnout by Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse and Weekend Special by Brenda Fassie 100 times this past weekend, because those were the go-to songs by all the DJs. Remember, this is mostly South Africans on board.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those were the go-tos. And as much as I love those songs, and I do, I don't need to hear them for a while now. It's like, guys, there's so many songs. You got 2 decades worth of songs, like,
especially South African songs, because like, you know, there are a lot of, like, we do sleep on a lot of South African songs, and it is a default to go to those two. But even both those artists themselves, they did other fantastic songs in the 80s. But I suppose, you know, listen, not everyone is a B-side purist like you are, Dori. So I mean, you know, you got to excuse the common folk.
No, I will. And like I say, it was fun. And now every time I hear those songs, I'm going to think of the cruise, which is kind of cool. They also had lots of games and stuff, which I didn't actually partake in. There's a game called Cornhole where you have to throw a thing into a hole. God, that sounds so bad. You know?
I know. We're recording online. I couldn't hit my mute button quick enough to respond to that.
Anyway, there was a bingo, there was like stuff like that. And then I went to a show, it was called Back to the Future, right? I'm like, oh my God, there's a show called Back to the Future. What is it going to be? It had nothing to do with Back to the Future. It was a variety of comedy and singing and dancing. So they had, I can't remember his name now. He's like the top Michael Jackson impersonator. Something with a D. Anyway,
I think our good friend Barrett Edelstein, the celeb savant.
Yes.
I just put his name together in one. Barrel Edelstein. No, Barrett Edelstein, the celeb savant. I think he interviewed him, or he went to a show, or I've seen on the gram.
Definitely.
They've been together.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's been some, yes. So he started out the show. He did like his whole Michael Jackson routine. Look, I'm not the biggest Michael Jackson fan. He is very good at it. The people were enjoying it. Then Bash with Tash came on. She's a comedian from KZN, as far as I know. She was hilarious. There were so many inside jokes, like you would only appreciate if you were on the cruise, which I'm not going to share now.
Right.
She was fantastic. And then they had these kind of weird 3 people doing like 80 songs. I've got some video clips. I'll share them. But it was just a fun show. It really was. But the thing is, it's like a big theater. You go into the theater, they ask you to be there 10 minutes before. And of course, they're waiting for people to come in before the show starts. While you're waiting, there's like an 80s and 90s music quiz on the screen. So it's called Guess the Song. It's called Guess the Song.
Please tell me it's amateur hour for us. Please.
There were a couple I didn't know. I have to be honest. So it's like the song comes up, and a little bit of a song comes up, and you have to guess it, and then it gives you a few seconds, and then it reveals what the song is. Some of it was ridiculously easy, like Bad by Michael Jackson. Ridiculous. Easy. Aha, Take On Me. I mean, come on. What is this? But there were a couple nobody got, because while you're sitting there, like, you kind of, the people next to you, you're all kind of guessing. Nobody got Purple Rain by Prince. That was one of them, because they used a very obscure part of the song, so you didn't recognize it. Like they were it was a bit tricky. It was fun. The thing is, you're on the cruise with, okay, let's say 80% of the people on the cruise are really into the 80s and 90s. They are there. They are dressing up. I have a picture of my friends who dressed up. The one dressed up as Freddie Mercury. OMG is all I'll show you the pic. I don't know if I'm going to post it on Facebook because that, pop here and all that, I don't want to get into trouble. I sent you a picture, Paolo, of these two guys who were dressed in the mattress material.
They were dressed as material. So, we often talk about this. People go, oh, the 80s was neon. We said, no, the 80s was orange and brown. And these two guys had safari suits made out of that mattress material, that orange flower against the flower. I think if we block out their faces, we can post that photo, right?
I have permission from them to post, because when I asked them if I could take the picture, I said, guys, please can I take a picture of you? I promise I won't post it. And their friend was like, oh, no, post it everywhere. And I said,
I've got to tell you, those guys looked like a good time.
Oh my God. And then they said, absolutely, and they were drinking a lot, they would be your friends. And they said, our wives made us dress like this. Yes. And then I said to them, guys, I do a podcast. It's called That 80s Show, say. You will be discussed on it. You will be discussed. So I didn't get their names. It's one of those things. You don't get people. I mean, I don't remember people's names. I kept calling them the Mattress Brothers. And yes, everywhere you walk, you walked from bar to bar. There's many bars on the boat. So you walk through and you go, there was always a different 80s song or 90s song, just mostly 80s playing. So you'll be in one bar and you'll be hearing Big in Japan by Alphaville, and then you'll walk through and you've got Spandau Ballet, whatever, so it was awesome. It was really awesome. There was a karaoke event, which I didn't attend, but I walked through the area where they were doing karaoke, and this one woman was singing Simply the Best by Tina. She was fantastic. She was definitely a professional singer. It was fun, man. I don't know what to tell you. It was fun. I'm hoping I can go again next year. And next year it's in January. So the chances of actually getting off the boat with better weather is higher. Apparently March, the weather is not great.
All right. So that is sold. Dori did a very good job there. It is MSC Cruises. They put on the 80s and 90s cruise. I'm going to go seamlessly from Dori the Sea Dog to Sea Dog the Sea Dog. Because he has been in all the news this week, our dear friend Corey Feldman. Dori, do you want to hear what's the latest he's up to? Or do you? That's a loaded question.
Of course.
So he came back into our consciousness about a year and a half ago when he was first filed for divorce from his wife, and then they started revealing all his expenses because she wanted more money from him and he was claiming that he was broke. They finally, on the 25th of February, their divorce has been finalized. He has agreed to pay her. Her name is Courtney Ann Mitchell. He's agreed to pay her $100,000 in spousal support, and they've both agreed to waive any future support. So that's $100,000. It's done, and Corey Feldman doesn't want any more from her. They both put out statements. Corey Feldman saying, "It is with great sadness that the pair are separating after many wonderful years together. We've been through so much and still have much love and respect for each other. There is no one to blame. This is a case of life becoming really hard." And, of course, both of them dealing with health issues, and they have grown apart. And now they find themselves at a crossroads, is what Corey said. And Mitchell responded, Courtney Ann Mitchell, saying, "We shared some amazing times together and that she always will love Feldman." She then detailed some of her health struggles, including chronic fatigue, COVID-19, and hives. Story. Corey Feldman gave her hives.
So she didn't have these health struggles before.
It doesn't detail that. It just says, so if they've been together since round COVID-ish, she was a barista and a health practitioner, something. Oh. But look, I'm more interested in where were the hives? Were there hives before Corey or post Corey? This is what I want to know.
What if, in a surprising twist of fate, we could meet Corey One day. Like maybe he comes to South Africa. Will we get hives in his presence? Is this a risk we are willing to take?
Because we spoke about this 2 weeks ago, right? And how he has got a rate card, $2,500 for 20 minutes. Listen, he was on an hour-long podcast. I saw him this week. I'm busy watching it because because I can't pay $2,500. So I'm going to watch that podcast and just, siphon off. It's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but why must I pay if we're not going to do the same thing, right? And it was an hour. Shit, will Corey Feldman give us hives? Okay, so that's a question. He took to X this week, further to this. And of course, the Oscars are coming up, and the Oscars organizers have arranged a tribute to Rob Reiner. They planned a tribute, but Corey Feldman was not invited to take part in this tribute. Now, of course, Corey Feldman was in Stand By Me. I think it was his first role. And he says, he took to X to say, I just want to briefly mention this Oscars thing. Yes, it's true that I was not invited. However, this isn't about me. It's not my moment at all. It's all about the tragic loss of our friend Rob Reiner and his memory. So Corey Feldman doing the right thing. However, as much as I appreciate or support, it's very pleased of you, but please stop. They don't need me there. Anyway, so Corey Feldman being the adult, but of course, we're just going to, not take his word for it and go, he's going to. Will he gate crash the Oscars?
Has he ever been at the Oscars? I mean, I suppose he would have been in the 80s, but
in the 80s, yeah.
Recently, has he been there?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, look, there's a lot of staff at Oscars. He could be a seat filler. So, maybe when people go up to get their Oscars, somebody's got to come sit in the seat so it doesn't look empty.
Be sad.
But you wouldn't even know. You just go, there's Corey Feldman at the Oscars. Oh, there's he again. He's sitting with someone else. Oh, there's Corey Feldman. Oh, he's bringing drinks to Leonardo DiCaprio. How weird. What a good friend. What a good friend. He's going through all these divorce proceedings and he's buying trays of drinks for his friends and meals. What a good guy. What a nice man he is. I want to talk, when you were on the boat with everybody, did you guys ever come across have a conversation about the stuff that we were like so baselessly and unfoundedly scared of in the 80s?
No, that didn't come up. We did speak about, how tough we are as Gen Xers. We did speak about that. Yeah. Okay,
maybe it's because of these things. So I found an article on Ultimate Classic Rock. It's a online radio station, and this is their website. And they've got a list here of things. It's very American based, but we can kind of like customize it for South Africa. It's a list of things that were put out in the 80s that we were so afraid of. So, of course, there was the constant threat, which I think is very apt for today, the constant threat of nuclear war. We woke up every day, the world's getting blown up. Yep, constant threat of nuclear war. Here's a whole bunch of other stuff that we're afraid of in the 80s. Piranhas, Dori. Piranhas.
That's true.
Petrified of the fuckers.
Where have all the piranhas gone? Where they
have
gone?
Have you ever seen a piranha?
No.
Like outside of a fish tank? No. Do they exist? I think there were a lot of movies
aren't they
about
like
piranhas.
This big? They're like this big. They're like tiny.
Yeah.
You imagine this huge shark.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very, very small. And like cartoons, there's someone always eating piranhas. There's always something.
I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is like Austin Powers, where they rip off the whole thing with piranhas.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
But what a lot of fear. What a lot of fear for nothing. Here's something else, Dori. Evil kids. Remember how many evil kids were around? Omen, the kid from The Omen. Children of the Corn, the kids from The Exorcist. Those little twin girls from The Shining.
Yep. I have a video from the boat that looks like it's taken from The Shining because it's these long corridors with a carpet.
I can imagine, yes.
It's very The Shining. Very.
Okay.
Evil kids and also evil dolls.
Yes.
Like
a lot
dolls
of
that
evil
came
dolls.
to life.
Chucky was one. Yeah. So that's, again, unfounded because like kids are fucking evil, but like not
They
for,
are.
You can't just throw holy water on them and it ends. You just got to wait till they're 18. We were also very afraid of like Bigfoots and Yetis, like kind of like missing link type people that were always appearing up somewhere. We even had one in South Africa. It's like those don't exist anymore because we have manscaping. We wax now. I think they were just hairy uncles.
Probably.
Now, this one is very American, but I'm going to put a South African twist on it. Is this one saying ending up on a milk carton, right? So obviously in America, if kids went missing, they'd put their foot on a milk carton. Our fear was ending up in the U or huisgenoot, like a missing kid's huisgenoot, being pinched by Satanists probably.
Or on police file. Ending up on police file.
That's the one. Yes, police file. Yo, kept our eyes peeled. That goes along with that white vans or vans of any description. Very scared of vans. Another thing we're very afraid of in the 80s, dogs. Dogs were vicious. 80s dogs didn't take shit.
Yeah.
They
were untrained. There was no like, Cesar. What's his name? Cesar, the dog guy. Whisperer guy. There was nothing.
There was
like
no
that.
labradoodles. There was none of that shit. Like, think about, how often were you bitten by a dog as a kid?
Twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Minimum. We were all bitten by a dog twice.
My child, 0.
That's what I'm saying. That's not like, the dog nipped me, the labradoodle nipped me with its gums. I was like, what? And when we got bitten by dogs, like now, you get bitten by a dog, big story. We got bitten by dogs. It's like, well, what the fuck were you doing with the dog? We shouldn't go where the dog is. Don't go there. You go, they're going to get bit. You were in my yard getting your ball. My dog's going to bite you.
Pass up for the hond. Do you not read?
That's what I'm saying. Dogs were fucking scary as shit in the 80s. Other things we're afraid of, our face getting stuck that way. Remember, don't pull your face like that. It'll get stuck that way. I think that happened. I think that happened to me.
The books I used to read as a child, the Enid Blyton books, she used to write, and that was from her. I remember, I think it was the Wishing Chair books, where there was an episode where a kid's face got stuck, and they had to go and find the wind that was blowing at the same time, and then they had to get the bellows, and they had to blow the wind back in the child's face for it to become unstuck. Enid Blyton created childhood nightmares.
Whatever happened to her? Well, I hope she was locked away. Because now you're actually now you're tapping into, that's another thing I was afraid of in general. Enid Blyton. She's fucking evil.
She did have some very scary stories. She did.
No, these are like, and you go,
she was not a nice person.
It's like, oh no, Enid Blyton is too hectic for me. Let me read Roald Dahl. Oh, witches, cool. Cool. That's a nice change of pace. We were also afraid of quicksand. We've spoken about this before. Again, never seen quicksand. Never ever seen quicksand. And then finally, Dori, and I think quite apt to you, having been on a boat, the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, I was going to say sharks.
I was still afraid of sharks, but specifically 80s, the Bermuda Triangle.
Exactly.
I was fascinated with it.
What's happened to it? What happened?
So I did some research, Dori. It said, well,
God.
Because of the area that the Bermuda Triangle falls in is actually a massive area. And in such an area, the likelihood of things happening, ships going down, planes going down, is very high. Or it was actually, so they said, no, not very high. It's actually, for the size of area, the amount of incidents that happened were actually not that bad. So it was quite normal. It was actually under the average of incidents. It just somehow built this myth up because people just, it's an alien dimension. That's where the lost city of Atlantis is, and it pulls ships down. So it was all that shit. But it was no, it was just a place. And you know what happened to it, Dori? GPS. That's what happened to it. It's GPS, the Bermuda Triangle.
Totally.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
that's also why you don't get caught by hillbillies on a road trip. GPS.
GPS. It's like you should have on Waze, avoid tolls, avoid unpaved roads, avoid incestuous hillbillies. Yeah, I'll take that option. Thank you very much. Dori, I'm just going to read something very quick for you. Right. So now George Michael, in celebration of the anniversary of Faith, they've re-released the Faith album. It got to #1 on the vinyl charts. It's charting as an album. Very nice. They're doing a tour. And it's kind of going to be like one of these concert movie things where we're going to go to the cinema and we're going to watch like unreleased video footage of George Michael on his worldwide Faith tour. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. So that's nice. Cool. We'll go watch it. We're going to love it. It's going to be the best thing. It's going to be the best, right? But then it says that they are now also releasing an 18-track live album called The Faith Tour of songs now captured from that. And it will also feature previously unreleased George Michael solo material and Wham recordings.
What?
Yes, sorry, you heard right. In this year of 2026, we are getting new Wham songs, Dori. It's like was thrown away in this article. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking about?
How is this not the headline?
Now, it doesn't say it's new Wham songs. It says unreleased recordings. So it could be recordings of songs we know, but there's got to be a new one in there. There's got to be. This is what Andrew Ridgely's been priming us for. This is what he's been priming. He's got a Christmas #1. Let's try get it a couple of years in the row. Okay, we haven't got it. New Wham stuff. It's fucking year of our lives, Dori. Year of our lives. So we wait for that. We're going to finish off today quickly with 2 80s truths and a lie. And unlike last time we played
the boat edition? The boat edition?
No, very good. But I had it because of our scheduling conflict. I had to change my running order very late in the day. 2 80s truths and a lie. 2 are true. 1 is a lie. Here we go. So Christina Applegate.
Sure?
Yes. The facts never let me down. My brain does. We spoke about the Oscars earlier. Christina Applegate went to the Oscars with Brad Pitt as her date, and she left him behind to leave with the lead singer of Skid Row. Right? That's factoid. #1, Christina Applegate ditching Brad Pitt for lead singer of Skid Row.
I would do the same.
Okay, cool. Statement #2. Now, Band Aid, Phil Collins did the unthinkable of performing in both Band Aids, because obviously there was one in London, and then there was one, I think, in Boston or New York. And he flew on the Concorde from one to the other to perform in both, right? Great story. He almost didn't make it because the passport control wouldn't believe that Phil Collins on his photo was him because he had hair in his photo. Right, so he almost didn't make it because his passport photo had hair. And we know David Hasselhoff, statement #3. You know David Hasselhoff releases all sorts of his schmaltzy pop, German ballads, Patricia Lewis lickies. He produces all of them, rap songs, SpongeBob songs. But Through the Night is David Hasselhoff's debut heavy metal song. Right, that's statement #3. So let's recap. Christina Applegate ditched Brad Pitt for the lead singer of Skid Row. Phil Collins almost didn't make the second leg of Band Aid because he had hair. And David Hasselhoff has released a heavy metal song. 2 are true, 1 is a lie.
I have to say, the Christina Applegate sounds like a lie, but I think it's true.
It is true, Dori. And now at the time, Brad Pitt wasn't that big because this was late 80s and he was kind of just starting to appear. So he wasn't like 90s and now Brad Pitt. He was just a pretty guy. And the lead singer of Skid Row.
Not as pretty as Sebastian Bach from Skid Row. Not as pretty.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, we're talking 90s, we're talking late 80s. So she's like, fuck, I want to be a bit of a bad girl. So that is true. And it wasn't the Oscars. It was just an awards ceremony. Sorry. It was the MTV Awards. It was the MTV Awards.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm going to have to say, I think the Hoff is a lie. I think Phil Collins probably did have hair.
On December 10th, 2020, David Hasselhoff, post-COVID, this is something he was thinking about through COVID, through lockdowns. David Hasselhoff released his first heavy metal song titled Through the Night. The song was recorded alongside Q-Stack, an Austrian duo, who enlisted the help of Beartooth frontman Caleb Shomu to produce a retro synthwave remix of the song, but the original was a heavy metal song called Through the Night. And it sounds terrible.
How do I not know this?
Oh God, I listened to it. It's fucking nightmare. I'm gonna post it up, that 80 Show essay on Facebook. Look, here's a bit of it playing under here. I'll just sneak it under my voice here so that we can hear a little bit, but I'll put the full thing on that 80 Show. And yes, that Phil Collins, it did sound, that's very plausible. Okay, so what we've learned on this is Dori. So would you say you have your sea legs or you never got them? You never found them?
Oh no, I got the sea legs eventually. The problem is I can't get rid of them now. But apparently it takes a few days. It's been a few days. So I'm hoping that things will stop spinning soon.
Well, like I was saying, I was really hoping I was going to see you in person today. But what was quite weird is as we were recording this, you moved, your laptop would move. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a 4D fucking experience here. This is like I'm getting the story told in the fourth dimension. This has been That 80 Show. Everything you heard on the show can be found That 80 Show SA on Facebook, including Dori's photos of the Mattress Brothers. Thanks for joining me, Dori.
Bye.
Goodbye.